Welcome to the Startup Grind.
Okay, thank you everyone for coming. It has been, from the last session to this session, we have like almost double the crowd. So let me introduce the guest and then, we can start off. So Farhad Karamally has almost 20 years of organizational development experience in the corporate world. He is the managing director and the group head of Fnckventures. So please give a round of applause to Farhad Karamally. Thank you. Yeah, you sit here. Okay. So you want to start off with asking questions to the audience, to what they're looking for, or should I shoot the question?
Okay, I think this is what we could do. Ekta, thank you very much for taking the time out. I see lots of friends over here, lots of old friends, new friends, family members, colleagues. This is what we'll do. If it's okay with everyone, Ekta, you're sitting too far behind, there's a lot of empty chairs. So if you could just come close, it's a very homely family environment. Plus, what we could also do is let him start off with one or two questions and then any question that you may have. Okay. Is that good enough for everyone? So as opposed to me saying कि जी देखिए मैं आपको क्या क्या बताने आ रहा हूँ, आपको क्या क्या नहीं पता. Because the fact is I see lots of entrepreneurs over here, there's a lot of experience sitting, there are a lot of people we look up to. Aliyu Sajjad Sahab, I very highly look up to you always, You've got, lots of rich experience, we've done lots of projects together. So again, my request would be to ask questions and then we could take it on from there. But let's start off with, if everybody's okay with that.
Know about Startup Grind and how many of you don't know about Startup Grind, so we can just do a quick intro. You want to have a quick intro? Yes. Okay. So this is a community which is started off from Silicon Valley last year, and it is now in 40 cities across the globe. We foster entrepreneurship in the ecosystem where we talk about how to start off a business, what the problems are, what the challenges are, and we try to bring in entrepreneurs from Karachi and across Pakistan to discuss, what are the best recipes, what one needs to do to start off, what are the key learnings that he might have had or someone else who's the speaker or who's the guest would have had. So that is a small background about the organization. So starting off from you, now can you give your background in terms of how you started off your education, family background, क्या सब trainers ही थे, or did you just start off with it, or your education initially childhood में कोई business set up किया, क्या किया?
अच्छा, okay. एक तो ये कि this question or this topic street savvy to corporate savvy is not something that I came up with, is something that he came up with, क्योंकि पहली दफ़ा जब हम मिले थे he asked me the same question. He said, you give me a little bit about your background and what did you do, what did you not do. And I think keeping the topic startup grind in mind, I think my startup was when I was very, very young. And वो कहते हैं ना बचपन से असर होता है. I remember because my father was a foreign exchange dealer. Okay. I remember when I was about 7 years old, 7, 8 years old, I would go to the bank with him and he would ask me कि बताओ क्या लेना चाहिए, डॉलर लेना चाहिए या पाउंड लेना चाहिए. And मैं उस वक्त बचपन में ऐसे कह देता था आज मैं खाता डॉलर. And I would actually ask him just to sound intelligent, okay, what are the rates, and he would tell me these rates, and I say no, I think you need to go for this, or I think oil is a better option, or gold is a better option. And then he would do what, I don't know what he would do, but he would come back, he said that was a good decision, we made. I said, oh cool. So I think that gave me a lot of confidence initially, and started familiarizing myself with the monetary value of things, so I could understand. Moving on, and again, lots of what I'm doing today I think is inspired by what I did when I was young. I remember a time when I used to sell Archie comic books, and I think that was a great business that I had, because what I would do is I would buy an Archie comic book for पता नहीं 23 रुपए 20 रुपए की थी उस वक्त यहाँ पे मैं रहता था, 20 या 22 रुपए की होती थी, and double digest was for about 40 odd rupees. So I used to buy these magazines जल्दी से जल्दी, जहाँ पे सबसे पहले मिलता था, there was used to be this shop near Sadar, वहाँ पे market से आने से 3 दिन पहले आ जाती थी. I used to go and buy that at a discounted price, come back, और यहाँ पे those of you who know, यहाँ पे एक central supermarket हुआ करता था, long time back. So I used to come and sell it to them after reading it. So I got, and I actually made more margins on the single digest than the double digest. क्यों मुझे याद है 2 या ₹2.5 का ऐसा कुछ वैल्यू था और पता नहीं 3 रुपये में नहीं ₹3.5 में प्रॉफिट पे वो बेचता था डबल डाइजेस्ट और ₹3 पे मैं सिंगल डाइजेस्ट बेचता था. So that is what I did. Moving on, I went to Sri Lanka. Then again, in Sri Lanka also I used to do lots of weird things. For example, I helped my friends set up a dish antenna business over there, which again was an experience and a half. Because what happened is उसने कहा फाइबर डिशेस कहाँ से मंगवानी है, तो हम कहते थे अच्छा जी इंडियन फाइबर अच्छे हैं या पाकिस्तानी फाइबर डिशेस अच्छे हैं. माय फ्रेंड बीइंग अ पाकिस्तानी, आई क्रिएटेड अ कंप्लीट केस व्हाई आर पाकिस्तानी फाइबर डिशेस बेटर देन द इंडियन फाइबर डिशेस, ताकि बिक सके. डिकोडर हुआ करते थे, वो मंगवाते थे दुबई से. आई हेल्प हिम सेटअप एंड वो कभी कभी लोगों के छतों पे LNB जाके सेट करके आते थे कि LNB सही तरह लगा हुआ है नहीं लगा हुआ, कौन कौन से चैनल्स हैं. हेल्प हिम सेटअप, देन अगेन मूव्ड अवे फ्रॉम दैट ऑल्सो. Interestingly, I come from a family of bankers. 80% of my family members are bankers. One of them, yes, is sitting here right now. Okay. Oh, there are a couple of reasons why I did not go into the bank. Ek to I can't dress like a banker. This is what Mariam you highlighted. Yes. I can't wear a tie. I can't wear shoes all the time. ये तो आजकल मैं अपनी repositioning कर रहा हूँ. You could find out why. तो इसलिए हुलिया अपना change किया हुआ है. But otherwise, I come from a family of bankers. I got opportunity at ABN AMRO as a management trainee Singapore, which I did not take. Then I got opportunity UBAF, Hong Kong management trainee program. That I was pretty excited about. तो वो होता है ना नई नई जॉब लगती है कहीं पे तो बंदा नए नए कपड़े लेता है, नई टाई, नया. I had a bag filled with shirts and suits and 2 pairs of shoes and ties and I'm going. Then I spent 2 weeks thinking whether I'm cut out for it or no. Fortunately अंदर से आवाज़ आई नहीं, मज़ा नहीं आएगा. It's a different feeling of अकेले जाके रहना. लेकिन फिर I decided not to. And since then I was also teaching at one point in time in Sri Lanka in a business school. That thing just kept on having on and वो करते करते I came to Pakistan 1997, joined this company called KZR.
You're going too fast. So
okay.
We need to discuss how you joined. So let's just.
So this is my background. अंदर से मसला मेरा बचपन से था. Summary.
Okay.
Right? Okay. So I had the grind. Sorry. Oops. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, no dance today. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So you came back to Pakistan, right?
Yes.
And did you have anything in mind कि क्या करना है? What was the reason of coming back here? Why not be in Sri Lanka? And I was assuming your family was there.
Yeah, at that time my family was there. We moved back with our family. I could have stayed back if I wanted, but then again, I have been, a lot of people don't believe it, but I like to think of myself as very lazy. So the thought of living alone, doing things by myself, I said, nahi yaar, let's come back, at least it's your own home. And plus, Pakistan has always been a very lucrative market. Even as we speak, in spite of all the challenges, it's an amazing market to do business. In spite of all its challenges.
Okay. So when you came back here, what was running through your mind? Cooperation with the Janani, that's what my understanding is, because when you did take that Singapore MT program, it would have been the same case here. So,
yeah.
So what did you do?
Interestingly, I came back on 17th August 1997. My agenda was very clear. I did not want to work in a company. I was pretty clear about that. Okay. I went around places introducing myself. अक्सर मैं कहता हूँ मजाक में वो जैसे junior artist होता है ना, वो चाहता है सर थोड़ा सा role दे दें मुझे, give me 1 hour, give me 45 minutes, hear me out, check me out, I can speak. Yeah. So I started doing that. I vivid and how KZR happened. You see, वो हमेशा से मेरी एक और आदत बड़ी, I would speak to people if I want to. So and I personally believe networking is critical. So I was at this photocopying shop called Clifton Photostat. वहाँ पे मैं खड़ा था, मेरा IBA में एक presentation थी, financial marketeers and marketing financers, so something to that. And I went there and I noticed this person एक printout ले रहा था जिसमें leadership का material लगा हुआ था. So me being me, I look, पहले मैं बड़ी देर तक ऐसे बैठ के देखता रहा. And then I said, what is this for? And he said, we are a training company, we do training for organizations, this is for one of our clients. I said, acha. He said, what do you do? I said, I'm a trainer myself. He said, so where do you work? I said, yeah, I've just come back to Pakistan, it's been about a month. So I'm going around meeting people, exploring options. तो इसे अच्छा आप आएँ कभी मिलें ऐसे, अच्छा ठीक है कभी मिलते हैं, ओके बाय बाय टाटा, होंगे भाई आप भी ट्रेनर है मैं भी ट्रेनर हूँ, इट्स लाइक बिग डील। आई केम बैक, फिर 2 महीने बिल्कुल खामोशी रही बिटवीन अगस्त एंड नवंबर। फिर नवंबर में एक कॉन्फ्रेंस हुई थी, वहाँ पे आई वेंट एंड मेट हिम। अगेन मैंने कहा ना कि मसला मेरा हमेशा से रहा था ऑफ नेटवर्किंग। तो मैं देखा जैक ट्राउट का एक कॉन्फ्रेंस हो रही है, आई वेंट टू हिम, आई सेड यार एक बात बताओ, this conference that you're having, are you guys going? He said, oh, where were you? We were looking for you. I said, you had my card, you could have contacted me. So that is how I then met with them, and then they said, Acha, would you want to join us? I said, I'll think about it, let me see, let me come over here for a month, 2 months. KZR was pretty big at that time also. Like, since I had come from outside, मुझे तो पता ही नहीं था कौन है, होंगे, you know, chill. So I think that not knowing helped me out a lot. So I was under no pressure when I used to speak to them. Yes. It was.
So how do you, I mean, this is the 90s. So how do you sell training to a market which is Pakistan, where training and especially organizational development training, how do you tell that manager that training is an important part of your organization, and how did that generate?
Yeah, वो होता है ना कि वो, you see when you meet, I'm sure you've heard this quotation, I think Abraham Lincoln का था शायद, I'm thankful to all those people who said no to me. You heard that one? I think that helped me out significantly. वो शुरू में मुझे बड़ा लथाड़ा है लोगों ने, big time. And to date, when I'm going into new places, it happens from time to time. And this is how I look today, you could imagine what I looked way back in 1997. तो यहाँ पे तो बाबे थे बड़े बड़े, you needed to have a white hair. I was actually told a couple of times, we have a white hair culture in our organization. You're not fit for us. फिर मुझे 1-2 लोगों से कहा इनके पास जाके मिले, मैं मीटिंग पे जाता था, मुझे एडवाइस किया गया, why don't you start working in a real company for a change? ठीक है, गुड, थैंक यू। केम बैक, फिर इतना बड़ा लेटर बना के लिखा हुआ ना, दिमाग में वैसे तरह घुमा हुआ था, फिर लेटर बना के थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर स्पेयरिंग द टाइम एंड फॉर गिविंग मी योर एडवाइस। However, just to let you know, KZR is also an organization. We have our systems, processes, things. So I'm not a briefcase trainer. I'm working in a company. ये करते थे। फिर I remember I चुंदरी के रोड पे उस ज़माने में शॉन बैंक हुआ करता था। I don't know, when I quote such things, I sound very old. Okay. वो शॉन बैंक के पास में पार्किंग लॉट होता था। हफ्ते में 2 दिन मैं वहाँ पे गाड़ी खड़ी करता था शॉन बैंक के साथ पे, and I used to walk down I चुंदरी का रोड up to tower and then walk back up to the car. जहाँ पे मेरा स्टॉप ओवर होता था at Bank of America for green tea. Okay. So I would go from one bank to the other. Assalamu alaikum ji, क्या हाल चाल है जी? My name is Farhad Karamally. I've come from the KZR. We do training. What do you do? We just came here to. मुझे फ़ोन पे 1-2 दफ़ा लोगों ने कहा हमें नहीं करवानी ट्रेनिंग, आप मुझे तंग मत क्या करें। फिर मैं वापस फ़ोन करता था, मैं कहा मैं आपको तंग नहीं कर रहा, आप HR में हैं, हम HR का काम करते हैं। Is there anything wrong in at least just knowing about each other? I'm not trying to sell you anything. I would take meeting. लोग कहते थे हमारा सिर्फ 10 मिनट का टाइम है। मैं कहता था ठीक है, 10 मिनट के लिए अंदर जाता था, 10वें मिनट सर थैंक यू वेरी मच, आई हैव टू लीव। मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम दे यूज्ड टू बी सो हैप्पी मीटिंग विद, नहीं बैठे बैठे। आई सेड नहीं सर, आपने 10 मिनट का टाइम दिया था, अब तो मैं इजाजत दूंगा, बट आई विल कम बैक अगेन, टेल मी व्हेन। सो दैट मेड श्योर कि मेरी सेकंड मीटिंग भी कंफर्म हो जाती थी। एंड सेकंड मीटिंग पे आधा घंटा 40 मिनट चलती थी। Came across meetings जहाँ पे लोग मुंह नहीं देखते। तो let's say if I had other trainers from Navitus with me, so the client is sitting here, he's looking at other team members completely ignoring me जैसे कि I don't even exist. But again, as I said, I'm very thankful to them. अगर वो नहीं करते ना ये चीज़ें, so if you don't go through the grind, there is no startup as such. I think.
Okay, so again, then how is it that you knew that training is it? This is what I'm going to do all my life. मैं training करूँगा, मैं corporation में नहीं जाऊँगा, मैं कोई और because training is very unorthodox.
Yeah.
I'm sure that
not
apart from Navitus or KZR, there are not many trainers, and there are not many. That culture is still not there in the ecosystem where people want to be trained. People are not
coached and trained to be consultants and trainers.
Yeah.
They're not educated.
Yeah. So how did what were the how did it come out that this is something which
I think the most important, lots of people ask me this question, कि आप जिंदगी भर ट्रेनिंग करते रहेंगे, आप when you were young, were you very passionate about speaking and training? I'll be very honest, it is not a lifetime ambition or passion to be a trainer. So when I cut out, I had no aim. But I think for every entrepreneur, the desire to do big, think big, and achieve that is something which is very, very important. So for example, if it was not training, it could have been anything, but as long as there are aspirations in life, the goals in life are very, very important. कि मुझे करना क्या है, where do I want to achieve, where do I see myself? For example, my education background, if I picked up my education background, I wanted to be an internal auditor. How many of you are finance people sitting in the room? Okay. Okay. Any internal auditors? Okay, I'll flip the. How many of you not in finance? Great. You like finance people? No offense, I can understand. Sorry? Without the finance people? Yeah. Hell no. That is why you see. That is why I did finance. You see, my aspiration. I remember while I was in Sri Lanka, there was a friend of mine who was an internal auditor, and I just loved his lifestyle. Yeah, traveling in, traveling out, 5-star hotels. You know, going around, and everybody is technically scared of them, so they will be extra nice. So, for example, कल अगर audit करवाना है, आज auditors को busy रखो ताकि वो कल इसको नहीं देखे, ठीक है ना? So, and I was like, yeah, and those guys were पता है हमारे साथ ये कर रहे हैं, and I was like, this is very interesting. So I was always fascinated with flying, with going to new places, looking at businesses, studying about business, looking at how organizations function, how the processes work. जैसे मैंने बताया ना, even when I was young, what fascinated me more was business चलता कैसे, margins कहाँ पे आते हैं. तो you know, for example, फिर चाहे वो पेट्रोल पंप हो, कोई beverage drink हो, कोई potato chips हो, या वो for example tour operations हो. What really fascinates me is to understand business. इंटरनल ऑडिटर तो फिर मैं नहीं बना, तो आई थॉट नहीं यार वो गालियाँ नहीं बर्दाश्त कर सकता, so okay, no offense. Then I went into marketing. I did my CIM, and after doing that I decided to go into the study of organization. I wouldn't really say HR, but study of organization, and training was the best option available at that time because I started off training in Sri Lanka. So that was the best option to go into and learn about organizations. And I just decided to carry forward the whole thing. So, or a lot of people are saying, "आप lifetime ये करेंगे?" पता नहीं. I think my training days now have significantly gone down. That's why the repositioning of myself. I do more consulting right now. I do very selective training. I don't make myself available for all kinds of programs. Most programs I've passed on to my other colleagues because Navitus has grown. We are a big team, perhaps the largest training and consulting firm in Pakistan with about 35 people. So there's an entire team. So I have the option and choice today to be more selective in what I do, while maintaining my lifestyle of traveling.
Okay. So you know the theme that we kept was from street savvy to corporate savvy.
Yeah.
So let's talk about how does one become very street smart in terms of what is a good mix of looking into the environment and understanding where does the opportunity lie?
Yeah. I think one thing which is very important, how many of you are entrepreneurs or want to be entrepreneurs, want to start something? Okay, quite a few of you. And how many of you have things of yourself? अभी भी है आपके पास? अच्छा, तो काफ़ी लोग करना चाहते हैं. Those of you are there, you are already experienced, you would probably second me when I am saying this. कोई काम छोटा नहीं होता. Alright, anything that comes your way. ना कोई काम छोटा, ना कोई बंदा छोटा. So there is no individual who is smaller than you, there is no work which is smaller than you. If you really want to get into and start, street savvy, start speaking to people on the streets. For example, wherever you go to buy movies from, तो पता लगाओ DVD के अंदर margin कैसे से बनता है उसका. How does he sell? Go and give them ideas how to sell their business, how can they improve their profitability. You speak to these petrol attendants, find out how do they run their business. You speak to the cinema operators, find out how do cinemas actually make money, what do they do. And this is not only about understanding businesses. What it does is it helps you understand how people function. Interestingly, learnings of one area can then be applied into lots of other areas as well. Because at the end of the day, if you're an entrepreneur, you want to do business. So कोई बंदा छोटा नहीं है. Any opportunity you get to speak to anybody, you want to understand how they function, what do they do, how do they do their work. If push comes to shove, you do whatever for your company. You can't expect कि जी अब मैं बॉस बन गया हूँ तो मेरी टेबल इधर होगी, मैं इधर बैठूंगा, मैं जब बेल बजाऊंगा तो बंदा आ जाएगा. That's all secondary basically. If you're thinking big, you haven't really achieved anything as such. Okay, so there's still a whole world to go. For example, last time when we were doing the video shoot, okay, if you notice, I came here with the cameraman. ठीक है, and I got a comment from 1 or 2 people. आप तो अगली दफ़ा की स्पीकर आप कैमरामैन के साथ क्यों आए? मैंने कहा काम तो काम है ना. You have to do your work, and I think that's the spirit that drives all entrepreneurial setup. Even for example, Gibran right now, he's the CEO of Tangerine Media. He's sitting with the camera. So there is no small work or big work. It's business. We all need to do it together.
Okay. So and then connecting it with being corporate savvy. So when you talk about being street savvy, how do you, in terms of organization development, in terms of talking to corporate clients, what are they looking for? Even when someone as small as a vendor goes to a corporate client, what are the key ingredients they are looking for to talk about?
Okay, this just maybe my perception and my experience, because everybody's got different experiences. When you're speaking to corporate, you need to speak to them in their language. Okay. You need to display to them, for example, if let's say I'm speaking to a marketing director of a company and I tell him कि यार पता है पेट्रोल पंप वाले ने मुझे एक दफ़ा ये बताया था. Most of those guys may not really appreciate that example. So you start off on a very different tangent altogether. For example, when we do these consulting or training assignments, when we have to introduce ourselves, we'll probably spend the first 10 minutes speaking in English language that is very difficult for everybody in the group to understand. We probably even have an accent that will make it difficult for them to understand. We then do some name throwing as well. We work with organizations in Kazakhstan, in Sri Lanka, in Dubai. वो 10 मिनट तक सुन के ठंडे हो जाते हैं, हम कहते हैं अब आ भाईजान, अब जरा बात करते हैं. So the image setting is very, very important. So the corporates have this particular look. They look at the kind of, at times, these are small things, many may not agree, but we've seen it having an impact. The kind of pen that you carry. Are you carrying a Mont Blanc or a Cross, or are you carrying a piano ka pen? The mobile set that you're using. I remember एक ज़माने में if you were carrying a Nokia 9000, वो जो बड़ा brick होता था, वो बड़ा in होता था. अगर आप वो use करें, इसका मतलब आप professional हैं. तो जिसकी वजह से मेरा बचपन काफ़ी मारा गया. तो जब वो बच्चे अच्छी चीज़ें छोटे सोनी एरिक्सन के अच्छे फ़ोन लेते थे, मैं इतना बड़ा हथौड़ा लेके घूमा करता था. Just for the heck of your branding of the kind of laptop you carry, the iPads you carry. That's where corporate savviness comes in. But interestingly, the results come through street savvy. Because those are things they understand. वो तो आपको मीटिंग करने के लिए, इंप्रेशन सेट करने के लिए बड़ा अच्छा रहता है. जब काम पे आते हैं, the best of people at the end of the day want results.
Okay, so let's go back to your Navitus days. So from Navitus to Fnckventures, how did that happen? How did Navitus become a and then you eventually became a director of group of companies where you have Tangerine, where you have Bottomless,
Bottomless.
Bottomless. Branding him. So how did that happen? How did from one entity it became into a group of companies, and how do you take care of operations when you have so many things to do?
Achha, I'm going to go into lots of areas. You ask a very deep question now. KZR became Navitus in 2004. We bought shares into the business. Then KZR was partnership between Kamran Rizvi and Imran Rizvi. We got shares into the business, so then we all became, Kamran and the 3 other people, we became 25% directors of the business, so all equal shares. 2005, I took over as the CEO of the company. Because of various reasons, it's a position that I had to fill. बचपन से, as I said, मसला ये था कि विजन का होना बहुत ज़रूरी है. I cannot be running a business without a purpose. And at that time, what we realized is, if you had to grow, एक तो देखिए छोटी कंपनियां तो बड़ी आसान होती हैं. An entrepreneur can run a small company for ages. But if you have big aspirations and if you want to create big companies, you need to think what will happen to your people. And I think the driving force was, way back in 2007 and 8, I noticed team members, as we kept on growing the business, where the trainers and consultants kept on growing, I was looking for growth opportunities for my finance people, for my operations people, and all those of you who've got entrepreneurial setups would probably agree with me कि आपका बंदा आ जावा नया काम शुरू करते हो, he's probably making 10 invoices. Your business grows, he's making 100 invoices. Where is the growth? How would he grow? And masla ye, if you got 100 invoices, then you've got layers coming in. So then Navitus started having layers and assistants and managers, and so we set up as a complete company. Because it was inevitable for me, as we looked at the business, as all of us we looked at the business, we realized कि अगर बंदों को रखना है, उनके लिए growth opportunity होनी चाहिए. I think that was the driving force. And I have a teachable point of view, which is when individuals grow, businesses grow. It's impossible for businesses to grow without people development. So See, and this is something we do in day out. So my focus has always been developing my team members, not cliched, but genuinely, to the extent that they start hating me as well. Okay? Okay, you need to do something to grow. Things evolved. We got an opportunity with stimulus. Marine was always passionate about the development sector. We spoke and we partnered with two other people, Faraz Khan and Khusro Ansari. So we partnered, the four of us, we partnered and we created this company called Stimulus. साथ ही साथ we noticed media के अंदर काफ़ी options हैं, and I knew Gibran. So Gibran and myself started off at a 50-50 partnership called Tangerine Media. उसके बाद we had this FKSquared, which is a publishing house, which आज से 3 महीने पहले तक I was actually concerned कि यार इसको अब आगे कैसे लेकर चला जाए, but it's doing very good. अल्लाह का शुक्र, in the past 3 months it's picked up that so much so it's a publishing house. We've been publishing about 3 books in the next 2 months, and by the end of this year we should have about 8 publications out. So that started. अभी हुआ है कि all of these started opening up, and each one of them with a clear-cut agenda. What do we want to do? Now this is the plan. As people start coming into senior levels at one company, in order, now for example, there's a finance manager here, he has an assistant over here. This assistant cannot go further because this guy is still in his 30s. So ऐसा तो है नहीं retire होने वाला है. Now the option within the group will be, you want growth, we promote you from an assistant manager position to a finance manager position here. Operations, assistant operations here, operations head over here. Then we rotate you around. So this will take about 4 to 5 years for people to rotate around. So let's say you're finance manager today, Navitus, tomorrow you go into Stimulus, then you go into Tangerine Media, then you go into Bottom Line Holidays, which is Sri Lanka, so you get international exposure as well. Sab karne ke baad, in about 7 to 8 years, you should be good enough to look into the whole thing at the group level, if you survive. So if you think about it, you have your inborn organic development of people, and these are people who understand you, your business, your background, you trust them, they're not going anywhere, and it has opportunities for them as well. So अच्छा अब ये था कि हर जगह it was FK. So because we wanted to bring it all under one umbrella, that is when Fnckventures happened. So what happened is Nadeem Chauhan, my partner, and myself, we decided दोनों का share तकरीबन हर जगह equally था. तो हमने कहा कि यार बजाय इसके कि individuals बन के deal करें, why not pool in our shares and maybe single partners. So for example, very soon I'll stop being the directors of most of these companies. Instead, Fnckventures will be the group company that owns shares in all of these companies.
Okay, so my understanding is you do not look into operations of each one as an entrepreneur or as a businessman. I mean, or you just look at top and bottom line. I mean, what's your role in each of these?
Yeah, एक चीज़ बिल्कुल clear है. If you're an entrepreneur, you cannot be doing everything. And generally entrepreneurs are amazing salesperson. अभी थोड़ी देर पहले भी मेरे लोगों से बात हो रही थी कि यार बेचना क्या है ये मुझे बता दो. That I am ace at. You know, I could go out and attempt to sell, but other things नहीं. And entrepreneurs का I think सबसे बड़े the key to success is you need to work with a team that is more smarter than you, who is competent in a lot of areas more than you are. What happens is they drive the business amazingly well. You see, an entrepreneur has his own strength. An entrepreneur cannot be doing everything. You cannot be coming up with new ideas and executing and looking after the financials and doing the operations. So you can't be doing everything, and understanding that I cannot be doing everything is very important. That is why you work with a team that specializes in each area. So what happens is, since you're working with highly competent people, they can turn around and say, फरहाद भाई आप बकवास कर रहे हैं, ये तो हो ही नहीं सकता. And I cannot say, पता है ये business किसका? हाँ यार ठीक है. You are an expert of your field. Why should I interfere? I will only interfere in things that I understand. Anything I don't understand, I'll not interfere. This thought, I think, again, as I said, helps the businesses to grow. अपनी सोच के साथ तो बंदा इतना ही छोटा वो monkey brain.
Okay.
Not that I have monkey brain, but yeah.
So, what are the key ingredients that you have in your team? And when you say that you have so many groups, which means that you have so many individuals with different backgrounds, with different experience and expertise. So how do you manage to bring in those key people to those key positions to run different operations? So how does that hiring process work?
I think it happens here, touch wood, thanks to God, we managed to get good people to work with us. Marine is smiling also right now, but that's actually how we we attract good people, they stick around. It is a promising thing. For example, one reason why most consulting firms in Pakistan, even globally in fact, you don't have anyone. I was speaking to a professor once from Harvard. He had come to Pakistan and he wanted to know about what I did, and I explained to him And at that time, we were about 30 odd people. And he said, oh, your business structure would not survive. I said, why? He said, because in consulting and training companies, you cannot have so many people working under one roof, because that's where egos start hitting onto each other. I said, yeah, but we do it day in, day out. So he said, no, but it can't. You see, when the culture is one that promotes second line, for example, let's say if I am a trainer, and we've got all lead trainers, including, let's say, Nadeem, Kamran, when we get assignments, we don't look at the first opportunity, yeah, ye kaam main kar lu. We look at our team members, who is the best team member, value for money from a client perspective to do it, which basically means less airtime for us. I mean, that's what we trainers, airtime to chahiye hota hai. But it's not about the airtime, it's the business that needs to grow, and we all understand. All our team members understand this, and the level of openness that we have in our organization, it allows for people to practice very, very strong set of values. And I think it is driven by values again. It may sound cliched, but the desire to be different, to be doing things with high level of energy, and constantly updating and challenging ourselves. These are three things that drive all our organizations. You need to be able to do that.
Still, what is the hiring process? Well, how do you?
Yeah, hiring process ये आप अपना नाम डालते हो वेब पेज के ऊपर, हम देखते हैं, हम कहते हैं अच्छा यार ठीक है बंदा आओ मिलते हैं. If we see the spark in you, we say चलो ठीक है 3 महीना प्रोबेशन देखते हैं. 3 महीने में टिक गया और उसके बाद उसको बुखार भी चढ़ा थोड़ा सा, इसका मतलब बंदा सही है. ये बुखार का I'm not joking by the way. You know, we've noticed conventionally anybody who's actually survived with us long term, तीसरे महीने जाके उसको बुखार जरूर होता है, तबीयत कुछ खराब ही होती है. It's like 3 महीने के प्रोबेशन ऐसा रगड़ा लगता है ना बंदे का. वो ऐसा नहीं हम बीमार करते हैं, वो बाय डिफॉल्ट वो बंदे का ना वो जब फाइन कंफर्म होने लगता है तो कभी तबीयत खराब हो जाती है, नज़ला हो जाता है, कुछ ना कुछ होता है, तो ये से पता है क्या ये बंदा टिक गया है. So again, there is no, it's, you know, we look at lots of things. For example, there were times we would hire and we would send a new person out with our junior staff and operation staff. यार आओ खाने पे चलते हैं, हम देखते हैं कि we also want to see this new person, how does he blend in with the team? Is he too busy focused on impressing the directors, or is he friends with everybody? He's too busy impressing with the directors, he doesn't stay. He can't make friendship with the operation staff, with the team members, with finance, does not stay. You may be very good at what you're doing, but you cannot mess around with our culture. And my role in all of this is, yes, overseeing the whole thing. So I'm in a lot of emails, but deliberately as a discipline, I choose not to get directly involved. अगर मुझे कुछ कहना भी होता है, then I just approach my partners, raise my red flag, go quiet.
What were the 3 biggest challenges that you had in terms of training, or what were the 3 biggest mistakes that you've done, and those have been the learning and have stayed there for a long time?
3 challenges. अरे ये वैसे बड़ा मुश्किल सवाल है, because those of you on my Facebook would probably know, because you see there are 2 kinds of indicators you could have in your life. There are leading indicators and lagging indicators. If challenges happen every day, and because they happen every day, I don't even magnify to think of them as challenges. Challenges आते हैं, अलग-अलग आते हैं, उसको overcome करते हैं. For example, right now I'm exploring Sri Lanka as a market for training and consulting. Allah ka shukr, it picked up very well. It took longer than I thought. I thought 4 महीने के अंदर I'll be good to roll. It's been about 8 months now, I'm good to roll. This could be a challenge, it could not be a challenge, because the question they threw back at me is, you're a foreigner, you'll probably go away. You don't stay here. And I had to convince them कि यार मैं यहीं पे हूँ, मैं नहीं जा रहा, मैं महीने में 10 दिन यहीं पे आऊँगा. यहाँ तक कि even on my Facebook I changed my, where do I live, I changed from Karachi to Colombo. कि यार मैं यहीं पे हूँ, फिक्र मत करो. वो कहते हैं मीटिंग पे आ जाओ, मैं फ्लाइट लेके जाता हूँ, वापस आ जाता हूँ. 2 दिन के लिए जाता हूँ, 1 दिन के लिए जाके वापस आ जाता हूँ कि मैं यहीं पे हूँ. Just to show them the comfort that I'm there. And I am there, it's not that I'm not there. It's just I am there as much as I'm there for anybody else in any other part of the world. So that's a challenge. People had issues with my age. That was a challenge, I can't help it. People have issues with pricing. Can't help that. So there were, her strategy, for my coach taught this to me. Alisa, you may know Umar Khan, Sensei. Umar is my coach. He coached me 99. He coached me 2001. Last year again I was under his coaching. From him I've learned quite a lot of things. Do not compromise on things which are very, very important. जो कि आपने करना है वो तो आपने उसी तरीके से करना है. And एक चीज़ बड़ी अच्छी, he said, I remember a tool he shared with us. He said, don't make strategies alone. don't make strategies for your vision. Make strategies for the obstacles that will come in your way when you're going for the vision. अक्सर we make the best of strategies. हम कहते हैं ये करना है, मैं ये करूँगा, ये करूँगा, ये करूँगा. Yes, good to roll. First step and you fall. Because you never realize that there are barriers and obstacles in the way. So whereas if you had set a goal, then you say, okay, what are the obstacles in the middle? You make strategies to overcome those obstacles, you have victory inevitable. So इसलिए challenges का तो ये mistakes every day.
What kind? Or let's look at the biggest mistakes or the decisions.
Yeah, Pata, that's like being sorry for what I have done, and that's not a good feeling वैसे. ठीक है ना? वो जो भी किया ना भाई कर लिया, मुंह दे दिया ना अपना, अब कर लिया. You know, I'm originally a Baloch, तो एक ज़बान है. No, सोचिए दिमाग कर लिया बस ये कर लिया तो कर लिया.
Okay, so
अभी एक हाँ मिस्टेक एक चीज़ है, एक और बिजनेस है वो I have gone into, and in the next 2-3 months you will notice I'll start working on that very, very strongly. It's interior designing. That is my wife specializes in that. So what I'm doing is AYDAN के नाम से उसको अब FKSquared, now that FKSquared is picked up, that's the last one that I really need to make sure it picks up. तो अगर mistake है तो हाँ यार बहुत time से था. I also saved myself now. Okay. Okay.
What was your goal starting up, and if that has shifted, what happened?
I don't think my goal has shifted. My strategies may have modified. My goal in life has always been to do lots of different kinds of things. Has always been to learn about lots of things, and this is not cliched learning. For example, oftentimes you hear people, "Sir, बताएं कौन सी किताब पढ़नी चाहिए?" मैं कहता हूँ यार जो पढ़नी है पढ़, नहीं पढ़ना नहीं पढ़ो. Because you see, you have your own goals. It's like you're advising somebody to read something when that person's goals are something else. You see, your goals are very important. There's a particular kind of lifestyle I wanted to have. There's the kind of understanding I would like to have of organizations which is important to have. There's a particular status I would like to have. My goals include there's aspirations from my family that I have. So there's a whole set of aspirations. I don't think my aspirations have changed. My approaches may have changed because the market dynamics have changed. And everything said and done, age also eventually starts catching up with you. So even if it hasn't, I also need to realize, how long will I be able to fly thrice a week in and out? Maybe today, maybe next 5 years, 10 years, I don't think after 20 years I'll be able to do it. So that keeps on. But goals are very, very important. And goals don't change. If your goals are clear, they don't change. Well, in milestones, yes, but that big picture that you want to achieve in life, that thing. For example, if it was not these companies, there could have been another 10 companies. It's not that I wished for the media production house or the publishing house. They just happened. But something had to happen. In order for my team's development, my development, the company's development, something had to happen. This was inevitable. So that goal was there. What that something is? Opportunity came, great opportunity, sounded good. It solved a problem that existed for the customer. You solve the customer's problem, you have a business running.
Take people with 3 months probation. If the person is not successful in your criteria, how do you say goodbye?
La 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 la, na 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 na, hey hey hey, goodbye. No, just kidding. Yeah. You see what happens is the person realizes for themselves they don't fit in. Yeah, our work is very pressurizing. Oftentimes, therefore, people think training and consulting is very easy. What a lifestyle you travel. It's a very, very, very difficult lifestyle to possess. Odd working hours, no weekends. Again, depends. A lot of trainers are very disciplined. I don't work weekends. Saturday, I don't go to work. If you got aspirations, you want to do big, you don't tell the customer no. Okay, I'll deliver. So, how you tell them no is they realize that they're not fitting in. And the environment becomes very uncomfortable for such people because it's very pushy environment. It's very rare that we've had to tell people bye-bye. I think we are not, this is very difficult. We say, okay, we also think the same. Bye-bye, Tata. Let's be friends better. But people realize it for themselves. And if people are cut out for this, they realize it for themselves. Why should we again ask anybody to leave who's not cut out for this? 3-4 दफ़ा फॉलोअप होंगे, बार बार आपसे सवाल करेंगे, आप नहीं करोगे चीज़ें, आप डेडलाइंस मिस करोगे, वो हमें कुछ करने की ज़रूरत ही नहीं, आप खुद ही आपको पता चल जाता है भाईजान मैं फिट हूँ या नहीं हूँ. But again, in order to do that, your processes and your performance indicators need to be very, very, very well knit into the culture. उसके बगैर पे हवाई बात होगी कि मुझे अच्छा नहीं लगा, इनको अच्छा लगा, इसका फलाना.
You said that you had goals, you had vision, you had an so these are all fine. But how did you exactly, decided that this is what I want to do, so I will achieve this? Like, how did you get into the field? How did you?
Okay. Oh, are you married? No. Okay. You have a girlfriend? Okay, sorry, you have girlfriends. Okay. Okay, let's change the subject. Okay. बहुत आगे पीछे निकल जाएगा. हाँ यार, आपने जगह change करनी है तो कर लें वैसे. अच्छा. Now this is what you flirt with someone, you fall in love. That's actually what happened to me. I started teaching, so while I was doing the different kind of things and helping my friend out in a textile company, also different things, I used to go and teach on weekends, and I actually found a lot of joy in it. And my students were actually professionals working in companies. They said they love my style, and they said, why don't you come to our company? And I maybe said, we'll see if we can make it. I used to flirt with it. Then I went to this, I first went to Reckitt and Coleman, Sri Lanka. For the Dettol brand team, I did a stress management program for them. Then I did a program for Development Finance Corporation of Ceylon. Then I did a couple of others, and I started enjoying it. And what was best is you'd get a check also for that. And I think, यार ये बड़ा interesting काम है वैसे, check भी आ रहा है, इज्जत भी है, सीखने को भी मिलता है, so I don't have to do run of the mill stuff that, and that is why even in my I constantly look for new things every time. जितना नया कर सकूँ मैं to the best of my ability, researching new stuff, what is happening globally. For example, the greatest movement in management now very soon will be compassion in business. That's going to be very, very big. That's actually our new project. So I started off with that. ऐसा नहीं था कि मैंने पहले से calculations की थी. I came to Pakistan. Interestingly, I was offered a job which paid me 30,000 rupees plus vehicle plus the benefits versus KZR that said 3 months, 0 salary. And I took on this opportunity because I knew this was going to be big. And वही बात है ना, even if some things are not big, you just make a choice, I need to make it big. ये तो motivational बात है, हम कितनी सुनते हैं, किश्तियाँ जला दो तो फलाना कर दो, करो ना फिर. So I just jumped, and because there was no option other than this at that time. How much, whether I would make money or no, was again, I was pretty clear it depended on whether I deliver quality or no. If I deliver quality, फिर तो देगा, and अगर नहीं देगा तो या तो मेरी quality में मसला है या तो मैं गलत market में operate कर रहा हूँ.
So basically you went with your gut feeling.
I went a lot with my gut feeling. Went significantly with my gut feeling, and that is sometimes also a mistake. Sometimes I take with my gut feeling. Like I don't accept it's a mistake, I fix it. If it's a mistake, you fix it, then it's no longer. If anything, you say, oh damn, I did something better.
Okay.
Question, you had a question.
How do you sort of switch your mind and sort of get back to being motivated, and you don't let the fear that the gremlins get you?
Zero choice approach that you have. You got no choice of doing anything but for this thing to be fixed. You also realize that if by me staying where I am today, it will not solve the problem. So for example, if there is a problem and the business is going up and down, if I just wait and watch further, it is not going to get fixed by itself. If anything, it will probably get worse. You just have to switch yourself on and say, okay, I need to face it irrespective. Right or wrong, action is very important. You can't just sleep over it. That's what generally my approach is. I not sleep over it. If something right, wrong, good or bad, decisions need to be taken. And once you've taken the decision, you try improvising the decision, but you don't go back on those decisions. And once you've taken it, you'll question it, you'll think about lots of things. For example, our Sri Lanka business operation, for example, we've got a partner ventured into tour operations. Now, tour operations is very technically different from what we do. We are probably the only tour operating company that works on advance payment. Confirmation only when you pay. We get lots of resistance from this, we get lots of questions, especially from the Pakistani market. Nahi ji, hum to nahi dete, humne kaha nahi dete, aapki marzi. But then the services we deliver is amazing. We could pick you up from the point that you leave the aircraft. We give you a local SIM before even you take off from Pakistan. So I mean the services that we give, and then everything that's compensated. Tadiyan bahut dete log. But then again, उससे ऊपर नहीं दिखा, सामने कहा अच्छा नहीं, फिर हम कहीं और जाते हैं, हमने कहा आपकी मर्जी. Because we know the quality that we give, customers at the end of the day want quality. You get quality, you have bad nights. A lot of people ask, is entrepreneurship for everybody? My answer is generally, can you afford to have sleepless nights? when you don't have money in your account? Can you wait for 5 months thinking यार अगले महीने पता नहीं आएगा नहीं आएगा, आ जाए तो अच्छा, नहीं आया तो इस महीने फिर बैंड बज जाएगा. लेकिन you smile, you have a heavy loss in the morning, you lose out on a great business opportunity. शाम को you sit with the family and say let's go for a movie, as opposed to sitting यार मेरा काम खराब हो गया. क्योंकि वही बात है ना कि if you're doing it for yourself, you know I need to do it. If I don't do it in my business, nobody else will.
In order to market his product, in order to market his what he's doing.
वही बात है ना, corporate savvy. You want to set an image. Globally, when people look at a profile, उसके अंदर golden color का लिखा होता है ना LinkedIn, लोग कहते हैं यार ये serious player है. And I've noticed people saying that. क्या कर रहे हैं? डाल दिया. फिर आपको दोस्त मिलते हैं अलग-अलग रीजन से. जो भी आपको बिजनेस शुरू करना है सबसे जरूरी है look at the solution to the problem that you have. Lot of times people have this great idea, but then you wonder कि खरीदेगा कौन? It's not a need of the market. जो भी, and even if it's an innovative product, you then sell the need. लेकिन सबसे पहले देखिए कौन सा मसला है. Go all out. Don't worry कि मैं मैनेजर से मिल रहा हूँ, डायरेक्टर से मिल रहा हूँ, जूनियर से मिल रहा हूँ, या उसके गार्ड के साथ दोस्ती कर रहा हूँ, या उसके सेक्रेटरी के साथ कर रहा हूँ. कहीं से भी किसी के साथ भी बात हो, get your foot into the door. Once you have your foot into the door, you progress. So ऑफिस में मुझे याद है काफ़ी लोग हंसा करते थे. मैं कभी किसी को फ़ोन करता था, let's say somebody secretary, and if he or she coughs, मैं कहता आपका गला खराब है. वो कहते हाँ थोड़ा. मैंने कहा आपने स्ट्रेप्सिल्स लिया है? अब मेरा क्या लेना देना स्ट्रेप्सिल से. एंड ऐसा नहीं कि आई वुड डू दिस फॉर बिजनेस. जेन्युइन आई जस्ट लाइक टू टॉक टू पीपल लाइक दैट. यू नो वो कि आपकी तबीयत सही नहीं, बताओ यार क्या मसला है, मैं कुछ कर सकता हूँ बताओ. नेटवर्क इसी से बनता है. आज दुनिया गोल है, कल मैं आज मैं आपकी हेल्प करूँ, कल आप मेरी कर दो, नहीं करो क्या फर्क पड़ता है. और कुछ नहीं. you'll remember, I'll remember you as a good person, you'll remember me as a good person. So your network keeps on growing. So एक तो network, answer to your question. दूसरा, how much of your product is a solution to a customer? And if it is not, can you make it the solution to his customer? Some things fail, some things don't work out. एक ज़माने में मुझे याद है हम लोगों ने import करने का सोचा था, sales team डाला था, वो जो bullet proof glasses है ना, sorry not bullet proof glass है, उसके ऊपर you put a film that makes your glass technically bullet proof. तो if you fire तो वो शीशा टूटता नहीं है. कितनी ज़बरदस्त नीड है सोचे पाकिस्तान की. ठीक है ना, यहाँ पे तो हर सिग्नल पे टक टक हो जाए बंदा होता है, वो कहता है मोबाइल आगे चल गोली चला. You can't do anything because I have that film on top of me, right? लेकिन हुआ ये हमने प्रोडक्ट बनाया, फिर हम there is another partner we were speaking to, उससे बाहर से मंगवाया, उससे सैंपल बनवाया. I also went to the extent of saying, which I haven't told my family yet, is वो जब उन्होंने कहा कि जी इसकी ऐड तैयार करनी, मैंने कहा एक काम करते, यू रिमेंबर वो हमने बात की थी, मैंने कहा एक काम करते हैं, फिल्म लगाएंगे, उसके पीछे मैं खड़ा रहूँगा, तुम शूट करना, ताकि लोगों को लगे यार देखो मैं जो कह रहा हूँ वो करूँगा. दैट बिजनेस फेल्ड. Why did it fail? क्योंकि so called of these banks that you have, I'm not saying of government organization, it was an ideal product to sell to the banks, ताकि यार आपके पास टेलर के पास लोग आए, अगर वो गन पॉइंट पे करे पैसे बच जाए. हम वहाँ पे जाते थे, वहाँ से हमसे पैसे मांगते थे वो लोग, हमारा कट. अब प्रोफेशनल कंपनियां, डेजिग्नेशन और डिपार्टमेंट से नहीं बताऊंगा मैं, वो लोग अगर अपना कट मांगेंगे इससे, वो काम मुझे करना ही नहीं है, नहीं किया. So that is where your principles come in. Some things I will do, some things I won't do. Why should I bribe you for this? ये लोग ट्रेनर से पैसे मांगते हैं, कंसल्टेंट से. वो कहते हम आपका हमारे आपने ख्याल नहीं रखा. मैं फिक्र नहीं करें, इंशाल्लाह आपका बिजनेस बड़ा तरक्की करेगा. किस चीज़ के पैसे यार, you're a professional, I'm a professional. और इसके तो वो बनता ही नहीं है. एंड दैट इज वेयर योर प्रिंसिपल्स आर सो इंपॉर्टेंट. कुछ काम करूंगा, कुछ नहीं करूंगा, नहीं करूंगा, काम बंद कर दूंगा लेकिन करूंगा नहीं. सो दैट्स द चॉइस दैट यू मेक फॉर योरसेल्फ. यू सी व्हेन वी वर्क विद द सेट्स, some of, not all by the way SATs are bad, and I was just telling some SAT organizations are run very very well, very professionally. Some sound very professional but are not professional. If you really want to get the systems and processes in place, and this is what we've tried with a couple of SAT companies, we said एक बात बताएं, you are looking at number growth, that's what the SAT is, market share increase, import इतना हो जाएगा, export इतना हो जाएगा, फलाना हो जाएगा, ये हो जाएगा. हम कहते हैं very good. We say let's make your org chart 4 years from now. And it's a deliberate 4 years. It's not 3 years, it's not 5 years, it's 4 years. So it's not, doesn't sound cliche again. So we say 4 years. Get them into a dialogue, they make the org chart. We say, अच्छा, अब आप किधर होगे? He said, this is where I am. I say, very good. Today also you are here. When your company expands by at least 6 times in 4 years, because that's generally the kind of vision that the state would create, how do you think you will be able to handle it? Then you need people. If you need people, you could do 2 things. Now you're not a pan ka khoka. कि यार जो मेरे मूड में है, then the information needs to flow. Communication of the strategy becomes important. At every level, people development becomes important. At every level, indicators need to be set. So you create a case by identifying the future state of the organization structure. I'm not speaking of a vision statement ke $100 billion company or a $20 billion company. What I'm saying is org chart. Structure बताओ ना, structure कैसा होगा? आप इतना profit लेके आओगे, structure कैसा होगा? If you can't achieve the numbers with this structure, you need to look into the structure. When you get into the structure, the first step generally is process mapping. So you do the process map of the entire place, find out what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong, how are things progressing, SOPs in place. Then you question those SOPs. You set indicators at every level. So it's a nice 1.5 to 2 year process to convert an organization into a low freedom, low framework organization into a high freedom, high framework organization. Yeah.
For a lot of entrepreneurs, it will be the biggest fear that if I have not done this work before, I don't know how to do it. Fear of failing is very high. And how do you tackle that situation? For example, I want to open a restaurant just like Nando's. People are already doing that. I don't know how to do it. I want to start small as you suggested. So what do I do? What should be?
Yeah, good question. You have an opportunity, तो बताइएगा आपके साथ वैसे मुझे करना है कुछ, हमें कुछ करने की जरूरत है साथ में. वो मैं 2-3 लोगों से मुझे करना है, एक वहाँ पे उन्हीं बैठे उनके साथ मुझे कुछ करना है. उनको मैंने अफ्रीका का प्लान कर दिया वैसे.
ये सवाल ऐसे ही नहीं मारा मैंने, इसके पीछे कहानी है.
इसका पार्ट 2 भी आना है. यार बता मैं खड़ा हो जाऊँ यार, you will have to probably move the camera. अच्छा, okay. ये जो है ना, this is where I go little training mode. I can't sit for too long. Let me start off with the fear. Let me start off with the fear, then the product, and then move forward. You've heard of there's this concept known as the doorknob fear. The doorknob fear says most people in their lives are holding on to a particular doorknob. They're saying, karoon, na karoon. Would it be right? It won't be right. Should I do it? No. What if I fail? The doorknob fear says you want to do anything, open the door, jump in. Best case scenario, people will say, wonderful idea. Worst case that can happen to you is, ya dafa ho jao. Get lost. ठीक है. So I lost. But then again, you have to be smart. Somebody over here said you lose the money, so you be smart with the money. Okay? Don't play like some politicians. No, let's not go into that. Don't act as if you're filthy rich and you can throw the money away. मैंने कहा ना, 28,000 is what we could lose, and we could afford to lose 28,000. So you decide. You play with the money that you can afford. No gambling. Business is not about gambling. Okay. So you open the door, you jump in, you see what happens, whether it works out. But again, what are you getting into? How many of you have heard of the blue ocean strategy? Okay. Blue ocean strategy says, and this is answer you, if you want to open up a place like Nando's, you come and let's say you have partner and you're offering that to me, I would not like to jump in. No matter how attractive the feasibility looks, I'm just not interested in getting into this kind of a business. Why? There are too many setups already. You give me a unique idea, I'll be interested. It's not about the restaurant business. Why should somebody come to a place like this when there are so many people? If it's like a Me Too product, no point. Sometimes the culture also needs to be there. And I do not know, and this is just an assumption, Gunsmoke opened up over here. That was very different. It has its own attraction. वो बेचारे देशियों के साथ डील करते करते वो वेटर भी तमीज वाले हो गए अब. ठीक है ना? First, initially, I remember the first time that you went, throw the ashtray tuck and you throw things on the floor and they would be very rude to you.
That was the idea.
Yeah, after 2 months, after 2 years, अब वो तमीज से बात करते हैं. वो इतना ज़्यादा उनको पता. हाँ पहले ना, अभी
अब तो बदतमीजी नहीं करते.
वो क्यों नहीं करती ना उसकी. So you sometimes also need to look at the culture. TGIF at one time opened up over here. Brilliant idea. The waiters used to dance every about 10 minutes. That was a wow idea. I think it's a brilliant idea. You don't lose out on much. Didn't work out. But that is worth trying. You want to try something like Gunsmoke? No problem. But exactly a restaurant doesn't it? Because it has to be. You cannot be a Me Too product in the market. Give me something which is different.
For example, there will be a lot of people doing something, and I still want to do it, but I want to do it differently.
Yes.
But what's different, I don't know.
Yaar, ye pata nahi. I had this feeling that somebody will ask me this question. I was interviewing a person once and wanted to join us, and I said, "What's your aspiration in life?" And he wanted to do something with mutual funds about 10 years back. And he was like, I want to do mutual funds. And I said, लेकिन एक बात पता है, there are already quite a few companies already doing that. So he said, oh, they are. I said, yes. So एक तो that gave me an idea of how much is market intelligence is. Then I quoted, he said, no, but we are different. I said, how would you be different? You don't even know what they existed. फिर और कहानियाँ बनाते फिर कुछ और चीज़ की. eventually we came to a point after about third meeting, and I'm still cursing myself for spending so much of time with that person. Third meeting पे जाके बात क्या करता है? But it was something to do with timing, that we will be open this hours. And I said, is that what your different strategy is? It's like all the others are, for example, only working Mondays through Fridays. I also open on Saturdays. How is it different? Yeah, so you give something concretely different. Give customers a wow in the thought. Whether they buy it or don't buy it, that's secondary. But at least when you look at it, oh damn, this looks big. That feeling is what needs to be created first hand round. So a lot of people say, mine is different, and most people, you notice those different is not different. It is just probably a line extension or addition of one or two things, but they're not really different. Different होना तो बिल्कुल ही अजीब किस्म का हो. That is different. For example, restaurants initially when they started off at Sorab Goat and the other places, वो चारपाई लगे truck अड्डा dinner places picked up. It was very different. Barbecue tonight, when it started off, there were so many barbecue places, but barbecue tonight was very different. It wasn't just the barbecue, it was Afghani kebab, which was a specialty. So any business that you go into, it needs to be distinctly unique from anything else that anybody else offers. Lekin it does require, even if you have a unique idea, you need to open the doorknob here. आपके सवाल का जवाब दे दिया? Part 2 आना है?
Part 2
हाँ ठीक है, वो मुझे पता है, लगता है कोई कहानी है हमारी. अच्छा cool. वो filler खत्म हो गया था ना? Okay. Yeah, the book that I've written is called Pakh Theory. It's about second line leadership. It's the first business parable written on leadership in Pakistan. Deliberately the name Pakh. How many of you read it, heard about it, Pakh Theory? There are quite a few. And how many of you have not heard about Pakh Theory? That's a 50-50 hai takriban. Pakh Theory is actually a book, as I said, it's a story right down from the roads of Karachi. उसमें गधे के साथ जो छोटा गधा लगा होता है उसको कहते हैं पख. The concept is कि एक गधा भी जो है वो पीछे अपने पख को तैयार करता है. And मजे की बात ये वो अक्सर, अच्छा इसकी अलग अलग theories भी हैं. Just to clarify, a lot of people think that this big donkey when they tie the small donkey to the big donkey, a lot of people say that, you know what, actually this big donkey is thinking that the small one is carrying all the load, but actually the small one is. My question to them generally is, who interviewed the donkey to find out what they're thinking? ठीक है, ये तो पहला, ये तो I kill the idea because we don't ask the गधा आपको क्या, वो उठा रहे आप उठा रहे, ये तो खत्म है. But what does happen is this: you have the donkey cart owner. I'm just cutting the long story short. The gadhe gaadi wala donkey cart owner, what he does is, once the donkey reaches a particular age, he gets a pakh and ties it back behind the donkey cart. This in his language is climatization, which is getting used to the noise, pollution and running around on the road. In my book, this has been contextualized to management trainee programs. No offense to management trainees. ठीक है ना? क्योंकि आप सीख रहे होते हैं ना पीछे, वो कंपनी में जाओ, they tell you politics, you understand, this is people you speak to, this you don't, this is our process, this is our values, orientation program. What is that? That's tying the pakh behind. Okay, to get used to it. After some time, they move the pakh from the back to the left hand side. Now imagine what a donkey cart owner does. This is without doing any strategic analysis and management principles. He puts it onto the left hand side. That is when the gadhe wala said कि वो उल्टे हाथ वाले इशारे सीख रहा होता है. He's learning the left hand side instructions. Which in our book is contextualized to functional competency development. So for example, if you're a marketing person, you need to be ace at marketing. If you're an HR person, you need to be ace at HR. If you're a finance person, you need to be ace at finance. And similarly, supply chain, you need to be ace at supply chain. After about 4 weeks, they put the kota from the pakh from the left hand side to the right hand side. This in our book has been contextualized to general management skill development. You notice that once you start climbing the corporate ladder, then suddenly training programs move away from very hardcore technical skills from people management, first time manager, motivating skills, emotional intelligence, coaching, and then you also advise to read books like 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Then the 8th habit. अब मैं नहीं जाता, रिकॉर्ड हो रहा है, वरना 9-10 भी आने थे. Okay, but then the 8th habit. You're given these books to develop yourself. So that's what happens on the right hand side. You learn the right hand side. Technically, in about 4 to 5 months, the pakh is ready to take on greater responsibility, which is main wala, the lead pakh. So then I asked the pakh, ये इसकी कहानी आगे भी है. और ये अगर आप देखो, it's also working with entrepreneurship. Entrepreneur, the main one, get the pakhs ready before it's time to move on. Because then I asked the donkey cart owner, I said, what do you do with the main pakh? He said, oh, that we sell them off to the construction site. I asked them, why construction site? आपने construction site पे क्यों बेचा? उनका जवाब ये आता है कि वहाँ पे भागना दौड़ना नहीं पड़ता, लेकिन लोड काफ़ी होता है. This is like getting into senior management position where you may not be sweating, but you're under a lot of pressure for the targets. Yaar bhaijan kar lo please, because you're dependent on a lot of other people. So ye ho gaya. And then the Pakh is running that thing. Then I also asked him, I said, what if the Pakh is good and you don't want to change the Pakh? The Pakh is going, I mean, the main donkey is doing well, you don't want to change the donkey. What do? He said, फिर हम Pakh अपने भाई को दे देता है. He gives it to his brother to start another donkey cart. This is expansion of business. Sorry? Branching out, yes, you know, so you have your own inborn talent going into other companies. यार ये कंपनी अब आप संभाल लें, अब आप ये कर लें, तो आप अपने अपने पक्ष तैयार कर करके जिनके साथ आपकी लॉयल्टी बन चुकी है ओवर द इयर्स, कम से कम 5-6 साल की लॉयल्टी आपकी टेक्निकली बिजनेस के अंदर बन चुकी है, आप उनको एक्सपैंड करते हो, आपका बिजनेस ग्रो करता है. वर्स्ट केस सिनारियो, वो पक्ष छोड़ के चला जाता है. That's what a lot of people say. हम सिखाते हैं, we train people and then they go. Never mind, you start off another pakh. You've done it, you know how it is done. You don't have opportunities, then the pakhs will go. The pakhs will not stay for their entire life. So that's what the concept of pakh theory is. The summary is, I think, and it's also very relevant for entrepreneurs, have a pakh and be a pakh. Yeah, where do I see myself, my group 5 years from now? I can tell you where I see myself if things work out according to plan. Okay? I'm sitting in an island, okay, with emails coming in every month as indicators, once a quarter meeting all the CEOs of all the companies, once a year, inshallah, chartering a flight and taking them for a conference, which is branded inside with the company name. But that is if things work out. I know it sounds very self-doubting, pata nahi hoga nahi, but that's, again, these are aspirations. This is aspiration I shared with the team, I think in January I shared with the team. We were going for our annual conference and I just had this feeling, I said, how cool would it be if all these baggage places had our company branded right from front to back? And imagine the entire team going together like that. There's just the feeling of like personal wow. So next goal item that I have is, I would love to do that for my team and take them to the entire family. We go business class, we travel, we have fun, come back, again start making more money and more business, impacting lives all over the world. Because all of the business, again, in the future, businesses that will survive and grow are businesses that impact the society at large. So by default, you doing good is inevitable. So you do good, you enjoy, you discover yourself, you become successful, you take it on to the next level.
I have just one question.
Okay.
Let's talk about the ecosystem of Pakistan in terms of entrepreneurship, business, what we are trying to do, what, you know, how do you see that going?
I think Pakistan entrepreneurship, there are lots of opportunities, lots of things that people can do. They just need to be committed enough to pull it off. बहुत सारी opportunities हैं, बहुत से setups भी आ रहे हैं. For example, we ourselves are in the process of finalizing an incubation center. Inshallah, by July, the incubation center will be up as well. That's an addition again to the family of businesses. People will be having workspaces, open space like area, come work, do everything. There is a lot of opportunity for entrepreneurial ventures in Pakistan, specifically because oftentimes you feel that it is because of these small businesses that the large businesses are surviving. The large businesses do not have the muscle nor sometimes the ability to pull it off the way that the small companies do, because our turnaround time as small companies is amazing. Entrepreneurs have great opportunity. Only thing is they need to question sometimes what are they studying. For example, abhi jo maine example di, the compassion in business. Compassion in business is a new thing. Globally, it's an initiative. One university we approached, turned around and said, a very senior person, I'll not take his name, and a very leading university in Pakistan, said they think compassion has nothing to do with business. Business is separate, compassion is different. Went to the extent of writing in that email, if you are so passionate about it, why don't you do it yourself? So my idea ye tha, you know, give me some volunteers, we'll give them global recognition, we'll give them certificates from the international, from the global coalition of compassion in business team. I'm one of the founding members, lekin that's the response I got. So it actually created a lot of fear in me also, which is if these leading universities are still coaching and training and educating people for finance, marketing, engineer, run-of-the-mill engineering, it is the odd one out, the oddball out, who would actually be able to create a great future for Pakistan, the ecosystem. But anybody who just goes by the rules, by the books, we'll probably end up working somewhere or creating substandard quality products. But you people, I think whatever is being taught in universities need to be used as a minimal baseline for people, for entrepreneurs, to use that and then think what more can be done. So don't think whatever is happening today is sufficient. This is already gone, it's out there, it's outdated, it's being copied. The students should ideally be looking at new things and new systems. For example, this, I'm sorry, I'm just taking another. Yeah. FKSquared is a publishing house, and yeah, my question to, I think this relates to, I said it shouldn't be run of the mill. There are lots of publishing houses in Pakistan. We wanted to be, okay, how did it start off is, me and my partner Farhad, हुआ ये कि we went, हम एक जगह publisher के पास गए, उसने हमारी बड़ी बेइज्जती की कि किताब अच्छी नहीं है, कलर अच्छा नहीं है, फॉन्ट अच्छा नहीं है, पेपर अच्छा नहीं है, ये नहीं, बहुत बेइज्जती की. हम बाहर निकले, it was very filmy moment, and फेरा के साथ वैसे भी FKSquared की बात हुई थी. तो we came out, तो he looked at me, it was a very filmy moment. He said क्या करें? I said यार ये बेइज्जती मुझसे बर्दाश्त नहीं होती वैसे. तो he said कर दें. His कर दें was should we register a company, because again we like to work through the system as well. हमें कर देते हैं. उठाया वहीं पे, before getting into the car, called up the lawyer. भाईजान कंपनी register करनी है. He said अच्छा क्या? Publishing house. He said नाम क्या है? तो फराज नाम क्या करना है? Okay, then we remembered what you had said. FKSquared हमें कहते थे, फराज खान है, फरहाद करमली. तो हमने कहा FKSquared. अब कंपनी ऐसे बनाई. लेकिन अब एजेंडा क्या है? The agenda for FKSquared is to create a culture of reading and writing in Pakistan. We are now in the process of getting young authors, as young as 8.5, 9-year-old children to write books. We publish those books, we make it available at bookshops. बच्चों के लिए किताबें written by the बच्चास. We have a business model, for example, that gives much better incentive than anybody else in the industry. लेकिन एजेंडा एक ही है. We want to create a culture of reading and writing. We want to create a culture. There are so many researches being done in Pakistan. How come they are not published? It's a vacuum market. We're looking for that. It's a great opportunity. अब idea है हमारे पास. हम क्यों नहीं करते? Now if you ask me why am I not doing it, again this is putting my foot where my mouth is. Don't have a team to do it. Why? You meet someone, I want to change the world and I am very passionate, I'm entrepreneur, this. Okay, आ जाओ. Project. 3 weeks down the line, भाईजान क्या हुआ? Oh no, I was just thinking. Oh no, I'll get back to you. We've got projects which have been on hold for about 2 years. But again, as I said, we may be small, thinking 10 times the size. We will not do it till we don't have a team. करने को तो कर सकते हैं. It's very easy to do the thing, make money, make profits, say कि जी system है. But the best way of doing it is to have a process in place, have a team in place, committed people who know what has to be done, and do it.
Let's take one last question from this team.
What should he do? The one which is more profitable, or the one which the person likes? For example, I like to do several things. I have several ideas in my mind, but one idea requires a small investment and a easy return. But one idea requires a lot of investment. But that idea I would like to do it. I love to do it. Do that business. So what should be the
What should you focus on? Acha, just to clarify so that we are on the same page. I understand we've been talking about a lot of money and profits and things. It is not about the money and the profits and things. You see, money and profits are basically indicators. They are like runs in the cricket. If you play well, you get runs. It's as simple as that. So it's an indicator. So it is not about the money at all. It is about having an idea, going after your goal. As I say, money is inevitable. Money or profits. If you got a good idea, it's an indicator. Otherwise, the idea bakwas tha. A lot of people say, but what about the social good? What does sustainability mean then? You create business models that are able to run by themselves, which means every business, whether you like it or you don't like it, need to have the money. So it is not about the money at all. Money is the end result which you get. It's a report card. It's a progress report card. You get lots of ideas. Brilliant. Don't kill those ideas. I have an app in my mobile which says ideas. It is filled with ideas. Better. In the middle of the night, I'd sometimes wake up and 2:30 in the morning, I'd put up an idea. I just put up an idea day before yesterday, 5 a.m. in the morning. Ideas are there. There is a core work that we do. But don't kill the idea. At any time there is an opportunity, that idea you need to remember and strike it, because then an opportunity knocks. And in some cases it doesn't only knock once, it knocks a couple of times. Oh भाईजान उठ जा, भाईजान उठ जा, भाईजान उठ जा. Oh बंदा भाईजान सोया हुआ है. या तो भूल जाता है. Write it down. First opportunity you get, strike. then don't wait. Then don't go into the doorknob fear. I don't know if this time is right or wrong. So at any time, anything could be happening. For example, this Tangerine Media project in Sri Lanka, which has come about, was just by chance. वो project stall हो गया, दूसरा project चल गया. But now that the other project has started, we are still going to plug in the old one. This research project that I'm saying, this is the 3rd year we are looking into it. We still don't have a team member to do it. Like that doesn't mean that the idea was bad. Idea I still believe is brilliant. We got one lady whose report had to be published. We designed the whole thing for her, but we never published it. We did not publish. We did not have a team. So idea तो कभी कभार वो आते. एक और idea था हमारा. ये 2 साल से ये चल रहा है. And this option is open, by the way. If anybody of you is willing to do this, we have an option for school children. You tell us what did you do in your summer vacations. Ages 8 to 10, 10 to 12 is what we are looking at. अब आप देखो, आप बच्चों को बोलो किताब लिखो, किताब नहीं, आप एक ऐसे लिखो 5 पेजेस का A4 साइज टाइप में. At our own expense, we will convert it into an e-book. We will have it published on our web page. FKSquared के web page के ऊपर ही आएगा. By the way, इतने सालों के बाद अभी एक के साथ शुरू किया है, बचपन इस्लामाबाद. उनके साथ अभी हमने शुरू किया. लेकिन ये ऑप्शन पिछले 3 साल से स्कूल टीचर्स आते हैं, हम कहते हैं यार ये प्रोजेक्ट है, आप करवा देंगे? हाँ हाँ ज़रूर. 2 महीने बाद पूछो यार वो आप ऐसे करवा रहे हैं? नहीं, वो पता है वो नहीं कर रहे हैं, और फलाना स्टोरी है, या तो वो फ़ोन नहीं उठा रहे. हमारा आइडिया अच्छा है. इमेजिन एक तरह हम बात करें ना, वी वांट टू क्रिएट अ कल्चर ऑफ रीडिंग एंड राइटिंग. हर दफ़ा हर स्कूल के अंदर ऐसे ही आता है, व्हाट डिड यू डू इन योर समर वेकेशंस. लिखवा के हमें दे दो, हम फ्री में किताबें पब्लिश कर देंगे और देंगे. इमेजिन एन 8-year-old सेइंग, यू नो आई हैव अ बुक ऑनलाइन. Look at the thing. लेकिन वो बात है, ideas तो बहुत सारे, but don't kill your ideas. You never know when an idea will strike. खड़ा होना? Okay. मैं बैठ जाऊँ. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much for bearing with me.
Thank you so much to Nando's for giving us the place. Thank you Google for entrepreneurs for supporting us. And thank you all so much for coming out and taking the time out to build this up.
Thank you. Tangerine.
Yeah, and thank you Tangerine Media for covering us.
Branding, है ना? Great, thank you.